So the One Big Beautiful Bill Act has passed Congress, and so now it's time to start looking at what is in it. The first provision of the bill I want to talk about is one that has not garnered very much attention because it's very small and frankly not controversial, but it might be one of my favorites, and that is the treatment of charitable donations for non-itemizers. People who itemize their tax deductions have long been able, for all my life, have been able to deduct their charitable contributions. And that's great. The problem is, for the last several years, only 10% of filers itemized. That will go up a little bit because of some changes to the state and local tax deductions that I'll talk about in another video. But still, the vast majority of filers will not itemize. In fact, even before the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, only 30% of filers itemized. And therefore, the contributions that they made to their church, the temple, Heart Association, the Girl Scouts, to any charity that they might give money to, didn't count at tax time. They received no tax benefit for making those charitable donations, which is frankly unfair, but it's also bad public policy. We allow the deduction of charitable donations because it's good for people to give money to charity. We want to encourage that. And so we make it tax deductible. During COVID, we experimented with above the line tax deductions for charitable donations. In 2020 and 2021, a single person could give $300. And I thought that was great. And of course, during COVID, there was a run on soup kitchens and a lot of people were having health issues and whatever. It was important that more money go into these kinds of service organizations that do charitable work. So now, starting in 2025, under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, it's a really strange thing to say in a lawyer video, but in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, there is now an above the line tax deduction for charitable donations of $1,000 for an individual and $2,000 for a married couple. So now that pretty much everyone is going to be allowed to write off their charitable donations, it is important when you're making them to realize that there's a tax consequence and you have tax record-keeping responsibilities. First of all, you want to make all your donations by check, not cash. If you do make it by cash, be sure to get a receipt and save your receipt. That's a little bit of a pain in the neck, so checks are better. Being here in Lowell, I represent a lot of folks who go to Buddhist temples and are in the habit of giving cash to the monk. Please stop that. Look, these temples are all 501c3 corporations. They don't get taxed. They should not care whether they get a check or if they get cash. And by the way, if they're getting a check payable to the temple, where the money's going, it's going into the temple's bank account where it belongs. And unless it's a very large check, you have the documentation that you need to show to the IRS that you made this charitable donation to the temple. So that's a good thing. But just in general, let's try to be writing checks or getting and saving the receipts. But as I say, this is a wonderful thing. I think it's very good public policy. It's going to be, as a tax preparer, it's going to be a little bit annoying at tax time, as it's one more thing we have to go over. But it was the right thing for Congress to do. And so I think it's good news. Thank you.